Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. It's a 2011 Ford Escape. It doesn't run anymore, but I drove it in yesterday. So here's your problem. The lady says that she was having no communication with her dash. She didn't really elaborate on that much, beyond that. But she also said 2 to 3 times a day it won't start, and that's where we're at. And I was going to start the video and went in to kick the key on and hook up the auto and all that stuff, and I noticed the security lights flashing. So that's why it doesn't start, is because security lights flashing. So it doesn't crank, doesn't do anything. Dash lights up. However, when I drove it in yesterday to leave it inside overnight, the dash was acting funny. Like it started, everything seemed normal, but then the whole dash went blank. The tach stayed at like 1,000 RPMs. There was no lights on, it was just black, and then as I pulled it in, all of the dash lights came on like a key check, almost like when you first turn your key on, all the lights light up. So all the lights came on and stayed on. The tach still didn't work, and then the center display for the odometer, that went blank, and then that came back, and then all of a sudden the lights turned off and then the dash started working. So it was kind of random what it did, but it did start fine, but right now it doesn't start. So we're going to turn the key on. We're going to do a system scan on it. It probably has some sort of communication issue. I can't see why, a customer would have said that unless they've had it somewhere else and that's what they told them. So I'm assuming we're going to find, no communication issues. So I'll show you what the dash is doing right now, and then we'll, scan it and see what we can figure out. Key's on. You can see the security light down there blinking. Of course, it doesn't start. Looks like the gas gauge works. I don't know if everything else on the inside works here. Let's see. Yeah, we have windows, just out of curiosity. Yeah, we do have a radio, I can hear that. Okay, that works. So it appears that other stuff at this point works. We don't work on a ton of Fords. Let's pop the hood while we're in here. We might need to get under there, find out where that is. There it is. Oh, it must be already popped it. Let's get a battery maintainer on it, and let's get this thing. Okay, it just auto ID'd it. We'll get this thing going here, get her scanning, and I'll get a maintainer on it. Well, maybe she is right. Maybe it is a no com with the cluster, because it looks like our cluster is lit up gray. And we have 10 codes. Looks like each module has a code in it. ABS has a couple. Man, there's some high frequency squealing noise coming from my battery maintainer. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's obnoxious. Let's go to report. Probably everybody's mad at the cluster, was going to be my guess. Let's see. Immobilizer communication error, obviously. I think the cluster on these stores the immobilizer stuff, the PATS information, passive anti-theft. I think that's how Ford works. ABS, lost comm with battery control module, whatever that is. Stability control inhibit warning, lost comm with cluster, lost comm with cluster, lost comm with cluster. Nobody can talk to the cluster. So panel control module, invalid data received from cluster. Okay, so it appears that we've lost communication with the cluster. Maybe this is a common problem on these things. I have several customers that have these Escapes, and it's nothing that I've come across yet. We're going to kind of ignore, these two perhaps. We're going to keep them in mind. I don't know what this battery control module is. It doesn't seem that any other modules are upset with it. That's PAM 4x4. Yeah, I don't see a battery control module here, so maybe it's something on a a separate network, a LIN network or something. Well, let's see what it takes to make this cluster work. I assume it has power and ground because it's all lit up. We could be wrong. Let me do some poking. I'm going to see if there's any bolt-ins on it. I'm going to look to see if the cluster is a common failure. We'll look in one of our programs for that before we get on a wild goose chase. And then I guess one thing we can do, that works on the high speed and the low speed network here. So let's go like this. Let's look at, just because we can, let's look at our data network just to see if it looks wonky or anything like that. Oh, you guys aren't really in the optimal viewing area, are you? we got a blinky light. That's good. Oh yeah, look at that. So it is funky. It is super funky. So we're supposed to be 2.5 to 1.5 volts there, and we're clearly not. 1.5, 2.5. So yeah, nothing there. Let's look at the other data network here that pins 3 and 11. This is kind of weird. All right, you got some kind of funk going on here as well. Neither one of these have clear data messages going on. I'm not a network expert, trust me, but I can tell when something ain't right. It makes me wonder if the cluster has gone awry here, because this data communication is clearly not good. We don't have to be an expert to know that. It's almost like the two data networks are shorted out, kind of. Let me do some poking, and we'll be right back after these messages. Get it? Looking at CAN after these messages, yeah. Something ain't right. Alright. Stick that bad boy to the window. Whoop. Tell you what, let's move it up a little bit. This is just so we can use, it's just a magnetic, a metal base, little suction cup thing here. Makes it nice for putting your light where you need it. What I like to do is try to put it right in the way so you guys can't see anything. That's always my goal. I did do the hokey pokey, and it appears that these clusters are troublesome. Oh, huh, and that just made it go weird. Well, does it run now? What do you know? We fixed it. It just needed a little Fonzarelli. Let me just get the mileage while it's working here. And there is no mileage display. Oh, 194,490. Remember that. 194,490. It lights up briefly. Of course, now it runs. Okay, well, let's see what we can do here. I had to talk to Mrs. O there for a minute. Let's unplug our tool and get that right out of the way. And according to service data, according to service data, this thing pops right out. Somebody's already been here then, because I didn't expect that to pop off that easy. But service data said to pull the trim off here. This really makes me wonder what they've done. Clearly, we're not getting the whole story. Let's see if this has a bunch of broken stuff, and it does. So this one here is, this tab here, like I say, try to get this where you can't see. This tab here is all bent over, so somebody shoved this one in. That's why that didn't go in correctly. This one here is all bent over as well, so that's why that one wasn't in. They must have just slammed it all back together. So we'll try to straighten it out. There, we're missing a metal tab here. Alright, well, they did a good job getting it busted up. It's always easy to tell where the other shops were because everything is broken. Let's see how many screws we're missing here. Does not appear to be any. Let me, what we need to do now, this thing's kind of handy and kind of annoying. What we need to do now is something else. We need to get a 7mm or an 8mm, get this out. I've got us a wiring diagram. We're gonna load test our powers and grounds here at the cluster. We're gonna unplug it, naturally see if it restores communication, or if it restores our network. Not really communication, because everything's still talking. But if it cleans up our signal, we'll say. We won't get too fancy unless we have to. Well, this sucks. You guys just missed the climax. I look over at my camera and it says an error has occurred. Please restart. So we lost. I looked back through my footage the best I could, and we were taking this apart. We were laughing. We were making gender jokes about male and female connectors and things like that being inappropriate, as we often are. And you've got nothing. So, needless to say, I don't know what was in that last scene, but the cluster was in it. I don't know if in that last scene I had wiggled the connector prior to removing it, but this was plugged in like so. The cluster was in here. Oh, tell me you just broke. 'Cause that's our problem, is it fixed itself. Prior to unplugging it, we were sitting here, we were looking at the high-speed network, we're having fun, we're laughing, it's broke. I come up here, I wiggled out the connector, I wiggled the wires, said some things. We did all of this, nothing changed. We took the bolts out, 7 mil. They were tighter than a banshee. We used our Wear toolkit. It's the Tool Check Plus, the toolkit with a clip for the mechanic with the on-the-go lifestyle. We took the screws out, and the moment that we tipped it out to take it out and turned it like this, ta-da, it's fixed, and it hasn't been broke since. Everything on it seems to work. At that point, we unplugged it like so. We set it to the side. We grabbed our 4-amp test light. We checked our power and our ground, which I can demonstrate to you. This sucks. I hate it when my stinking camera messes up, especially on a scene that has the climax, the big money shot. We checked it out here. We stuck a 4-amp load on it. We said, well, that's good. We looked at the diagram. We said, oh, it's just got powers and ground. One power, one ground, comm wires, high speed, medium speed coming into it, and a bunch of other things that don't make a difference. And that's it. That's what we did. And then we said, well, the lady told us it was intermittent, and thankfully we wiggled the connectors and the wires prior to pulling it out. We made a joke about the last shot because naturally it has the we don't know what's wrong with it, so put some dielectric grease in it fix, because that's what people do when things don't work. You pack it full of dielectric grease and shove it back together. So there's that. And then we made a determination that these clusters are apparently infamous for this issue. We're going to send it in to either United Radio Supply or Circuit Board Medics down in the Carolinas. And then that's it. And then prior to doing that, A, we would like to see it broke again just to be definitive. And B, we're going to do a pin drag test. And that's where the gender jokes came in, because I said we're going to use a male pin and something about being 2024 and stuff like that to try to trigger people. Oh. We got the classic dielectric grease down in this connector as well, so if you're there and you don't know what's wrong with it, dielectric grease everything. So that's always good advice. No, it's not. Don't put dielectric grease and stuff, folks. It makes connections worse. It's dielectric. It's non-conductive. It doesn't help. Trust me. Use it on your spark plug wires. Keep them from getting stuck. That's about it. I just wish the dang thing would break again, but naturally it's not gonna. We've tweaked, we've pulled, we've pushed, we've pried. Like I say, the lady did say it was intermittent a few times a day. I'm just gonna make the call on the cluster based off the information that we gathered and the fact that it was still broke prior to pulling it, and we gave it the tweakeroo up there. We did pull this little white cover off. Let me do a pin drag test on it. I'm not gonna bore you with that because that's about the dumbest thing you can watch. About like watching golf. Watching golf. Anyways, that's it. Easy peasy, folks. Sorry you guys missed it all and had to go through that horrible replay commentary, but that's pretty well it. I don't know what else to do. There's not much else to prove, you know. Does it have power and ground? And, you know, we assumed it did because it was lit up, but it was being all frigged up. There's multiple cases on Identifix, not that you should be using that for your cure-all, end-all, you know, this is what's wrong with the car, but everybody kind of has the same complaint. We've seen the network was messed up. You know, take the cluster out of the picture, everything comes back to life. I'm going to give this lady a buzz, see what she wants to do. If I send the cluster out, get it repaired, get it back, you could also opt to buy a new one, in which case you'll have to do a PMI. You'll have to have 2 keys for it to do a parameter reset. That's it. Anyways, don't reset your computer until you go in the comment section. Leave a question, a comment, concern. Find us on the Insta, the Facebook. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. Follow-up video, folks. Same day. Customer doesn't want to fix it, so you're not going to get a follow-up video. How's that sound? Not horribly expensive to repair either, so she wants to hold off, she said. So we're going to hold off. Give you folks a follow-up. Lady changed her mind again. That's what women do. We got the new cluster. I put it all in. I forgot that we even made a video on this. But yeah, to give you guys a follow-up, it's there. It's in. It works beautiful now. Sent it out to United Radio here in Syracuse, New York. They fixed it up, sent it back. I'm happy. The lady's happy. And well, now you guys are happy.